Hi Nina! Alright, so here is your past life spread. So, what we're going to do is look at where you were, what you did with the majority of your time, an important day with the relationships and feelings involved, another important day, relationships, feelings, the death, and lesson learned. And we will get hints of time throughout. So all I'm going to do is relay to you the impressions and imagery coming through, and your job is going to be to try to make connections where you can based off of what comes through in your current life, and I'll try to help however I can, okay? So just be aware and be open to direct connections and opposite connections. Direct meaning it's directly coming from what we're looking at here, and opposite is based on what comes through here. Our souls like to experience very different things. So you might relate to it in an opposite way. For example, if you were a rageaholic here, you might have come back in your current life as like a total people-pleasing, quiet kind of, you see the difference kind of thing. So just keep in mind there can be different kinds of connections. Okay, so let's start. So here we have the island card, and the island could be like, oh yeah, Hawaii and, Fiji or whatever, but it can also be like Australia and Japan and that kind of thing. So in this case, what it really feels like is, even though this might not technically be an island, it really feels like we're going to the Scandinavian islands, I guess. I guess they are islands, but you know what I mean, because if you were on one, I think one of them's like a peninsula or something, I don't know. But it feels like we're going to the Scandinavian islands. It feels like if it had to be one of those main ones, it feels more like Sweden, if that makes any sense. So a connection, for example, would be if you ever were interested in Swedish culture, food, language, music, history. If you see photos of Sweden, and let's say you don't know it's Sweden, but you see a photo and you're like, oh God, I want to live there. That looks like home. That feels so good. I want to visit, and it turns out to be Sweden. That kind of thing, or even just the Scandinavian islands. But this does not feel like we're looking at like icy kind of Scandinavian islands. It feels like we're looking somewhere where there is like a lot of what feels like soft green pasture land, okay? It could be hilly, there can be mountains, but it feels like there's something about soft green pasture land. Now, this can be coming up, even something as simple as that can be coming up for you. For example, if you are looking to find more, I want to say like harmony, peace of mind, quiet place in your mind, so to speak, like to bring you into a nice, aligned, quiet place, and you might have trouble meditating or trouble doing that, this feels like the kind of message where go to a meadow or visualize yourself in a meadow with soft green colors. It feels very much like soft green is your friend. Now, green can be coming up because you might be having some issues when it comes to your heart center or your heart chakra, which can mean it could be blocked. You could be dealing with a heartache, maybe like a pet just died, or a loss of a relationship, or even a separation, and you're feeling separation anxiety, like a partner going off to war kind of deal. So just keep in mind that this is coming through for you for like a tool to use when it comes to self-soothing. And how you can use that, for example, would be to wear the color soft green, surround yourself soft green. It could be how you decorate your home or your bathroom or whatever. It can be simply visualizing soft green and breathing at the same time and seeing how that feels in your body. It can be visualizing bringing in soft green light energy into your heart center for 5 minutes while you breathe, that kind of thing. So there's something here about soft green. It could just be that soft green is a favorite color of yours, and that's it. You know what I mean? So just make connections however you can when it comes to that. But they are taking me to a meadowish kind of like place. It feels kind of countrified, in a quiet, peaceful kind of way, but also a sense of isolation, meaning this feels like it's a bit far out from a town center or city center. So in your current life, you could be someone who really thrives in quiet suburb life kind of thing, and that's where you find comfort, and where you find, maybe that's where you have found yourself, where in your life where you have eventually found yourself. On the other hand, this is where those opposite connections come in, where you might find that in this life you're like, I'm a city girl, I like urban, I like being in the crowd, in the hum, I like, being around people, and that kind of thing. And it can be a balance of both, but basically it's a theme of where you're finding you are thriving, what environment you are thriving in. And this is also coming up because it feels like your environment's very important for whatever job you want to do, whatever project you might be working on. The environment, don't underestimate it. You gotta go where it feels good. So let's say you're working on something and you really just can't concentrate in the way that you know you are capable of concentrating. You need to find a place that will let you do that. And I know it's hard sometimes to like get out, especially with what's going on, with quarantine and stuff. But like if you can go to the library, do that, or find a park, or find, something like that. Just switch it up if you find that your environment is not conducive to a peaceful, focused, productive atmosphere for whatever you're working on, if that makes sense. Okay? So, here we're seeing what you do with the majority of your time. Here, this is the leisure card. So this is indicating like a life of more ease than not. And this could be coming up, for example, in your current life, if you are feeling hectic, if you're feeling a little chaotic, or even very chaotic, if you're feeling like overwhelmed, like you can't get a handle on things, even though you might be a really good multitasker, it just might feel like there's a lot to do. You're able to get it done, but only like enough. Not where you can get it done with ease and have extra energy and time to do you, to focus on you. So if that's the case, this is coming up to show you that you do have, basically you have a lifetime of comfort and peace, is what this feels like, built into your, we'll say, energetic DNA. And how you can tap into that, how anyone can tap into anything from other lives, basically, is first to be aware of it, recognize it, acknowledge it, which is what we're doing here. But then to basically have the intention of bringing the energy into your being and believing that that can affect your life in such a way that you will see it reflected in your reality now that you are aware of it, and bringing it into your internal reality to reflect to the external. This is basically manifestation work. So you have to just allow, trust, believe, and then see the changes occur rather than waiting for changes to occur in order to believe they're happening, if that makes sense. It's a little feeling like a little counterintuitive sometimes with these kinds of concepts, but that's why a lot of people have a hard time grasping it, because we've been programmed to think a different way, when really this is the way to get what you want and to like achieve the, again, external stimuli or environment that you want to see or feel around you. So let's go into this a little more. Very much so having to do, there are ponies involved in this life. I feel like you are this is a female aspect of you that tends to at least ponies, but there's an agricultural aspect to this life where I want to say there is a creature like what we would consider a llama. I don't know where llamas originate from. So if they're, go ahead and Google and see if they're in Scandinavia, Sweden kind of deal. But if not, see if there is another form of the llama, another animal like it, because it feels like you work with these animals a lot and that they're important to whatever you are doing or your farm, or because it feels like this is kind of, it's like a farm, but not like a farm, like how we think of a farm. It's not like, I don't know, it's not like the red barn kind of thing. It feels more like a pasture and there's these animals and you tend to the animals. So in your current life, you might find that you might actually, it's gonna sound kind of strange or whatever, maybe, I don't know. I don't know how weird you, if you're part of the woo-woo people, so to speak, but if you are, you'll understand what I say when I say you might feel like you can talk to animals. Psychically, telepathically, you might be able to communicate with animals on a deeper level than you see people around you communicating with animals. And my thing with this for you would be to actually try it consciously and intentionally if you don't already, because there are like pet psychics out there, and I have met at least 3 in person that are like dead on amazing, accurate. It's just so awesome. It's phenomenal. So you might be one of those people, but it doesn't mean you have to go the route of being a pet psychic. I'm just saying, like, you might actually bond with animals very easily or have a soft spot for them, especially when it comes to maybe horses or like agricultural animals or farm animals. You might veer towards those, and it's almost like there's something about them that is therapeutic to you as well. It feels like if you've ever heard of horse therapy, I would definitely Google it and see what what goes on with horse therapy, if for PTSD or anxiety. I mean, I think they put like military vets with horses for their issues and things like that. And this, this is coming up for a reason. So just, see whatever connection that you can make. If it resonates with you, great. If not, if something doesn't resonate with you, just tuck it in the back of your mind, because things come up like in months or a year later kind of deal. So just take it with a grain of salt, but tuck in the back of your mind kind of thing if it doesn't resonate. Okay, so let's see what's going on. So the leisure comes in because, yeah, a farm, you work hard, but it's about the routine and rhythm that really allows for this life to just be a very peaceable, like, go with the flow kind of life. Let's see. It doesn't feel, I'm not feeling any, like, feelings of, oh, what's it like out there in the world? What I want to explore. I'm not feeling that from this aspect of you here. I'm feeling like this person's very content and satisfied to grow up where she grows up, to be with the family, to have this like its roots. It's, I want to say, a feeling of community, even if it's not a large community. So there's this idea of quality over quantity coming through, which, if you can connect with that in any way, would be to make sure you are weeding out toxic people from your life and really surrounding yourself with people that just encourage you and enjoy you and love you and don't have ulterior motives, and specifically almost like feeling like if there is one person that you're going back and forth on, or you're thinking about, like, or wanting to kind of cut out or whatever, it's like, let's go ahead and do it. Rip the band-aid off. It'll feel better later. You have to prioritize yourself, and you can't put the idea that, oh, blood is thicker than water if it's family or something like that. You cannot put that. You cannot prioritize other people's, we'll say, their philosophies. Like, blood is thicker than water, you know how people say that, family will say that? Well, that's their philosophy, and by the way, look up the full quote to that. It actually means, the real quote to that is, you create your family. You create the bonds of your family. It's not about the ones you're born to. So I feel like that's very important for you to, you probably already know that and realize it, but it's important for you to act on it and actually do something about it, rather than just know it and be aware and kind of stall. It's not, and this isn't about hurting anyone and being like, no, I hate you, goodbye. It's about just like, I respect me, I prioritize me, self-love, 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 and get away from the idea that that's selfish. Because if selfish is taking care of yourself and prioritizing yourself, then be selfish. Because this is your journey in life. You're not here to live your life for anyone else or to be around anyone else, unless they're teaching you a lesson and you can't let go. So as soon as you learn the lesson, which usually in this case with toxic people, it's to respect yourself more than, people pleasing, so to speak. That's the lesson. Move on. That kind of thing. Cut the cords. That kind of thing. So keep that in mind, and we're going to go to the first important day. So, oh, and keep making connections where you can with these cards up here, okay? So, next important day. Oh, first important day, I should say. So this is the Wowzer card. And the Wowzer card is when something like out of the ordinary is happening, or it's like something you've never experienced. It can be extraordinary. It can be surreal to you, that kind of thing. So it feels like we're getting to an important day in this life because of something that you have yet to experience or haven't known yet. The relationship here is the spouse card. It doesn't always mean your spouse. We can be looking at someone else, or we're gonna get to it. And then the feelings here is peaceful and just rolling right along. And it's just so funny because this card does not pop up a lot lately. I'm sure you can imagine why. But it's so nice to see this card with the life of leisure. It just goes so well together, and I really like when readings are really nice and cohesive like that, because it's obviously trying to deliver a message to you about taking time for you and peace of mind for you. Prioritizing you is what it really feels like. So let's go ahead with this first important day. So Wowzer card, spouse, rolling right along. All right, so this is really nice because it feels like we are looking at you finding love, and it feels like it's a very coming together very easily with no problems and no drama. And I don't know if this is someone you have known for a while, but it feels like a new energy, but I don't know if it's because it's someone from far away or someone who's part of your community. It's just that you're on a farm and you just don't see everyone all the time kind of deal. But it does feel like someone that speaks your language on many levels, by the way, and I feel like that's very important to note. Someone that speaks your language on many levels. So if you are in a conundrum in your current life when it comes to relationships, like I want to say romantic, but it doesn't have to be that way. We could be talking about friendships because we were talking about toxic people before. So of course that can be romance or friendships or family or whatever. So really it's just about relationships. Let's go with the general relationships thing, but this could pertain to your romantic anything going on, would be to look for the ones that speak your language, but your heart language and your soul language. So it's not about how they talk to you or if they talk pretty or if they say the right thing. It's about how they make you feel. This is a big deal. You have to check in with your intuition and you have to trust your intuition, because it's very easy for people to say what they think or know that you want them to hear in order for them to get you to do something or behave a certain way or think a certain way, to kind of like, I want to say manipulate or control you. I know it sounds evil. It's not evil. It's human nature sometimes, whatever. But it's, you know, people scared of losing control, so they'll do whatever it takes in order to get what they want. And if that's the case, it's really important that if something feels off to you, you immediately detach from the situation so you could sit with yourself and the situation with your gut and see why it feels off. What does it feel like that you can even link to another time in your life when something felt off? We're talking about red flags. So really, again, you want to make sure that the people you are surrounding yourself with are your tribe. And this is, you know, romantic as well. If you are in a relationship and you're happy, it means that this person speaks your language on many levels. If you're in a relationship and you're not happy, it's because this person has not learned basically your love languages, like how to show that they care on a different level rather than just saying, I love you, you're the best, da da da. Because that doesn't do it for a lot of people. Some people need acts of service, or they need to be touched to be shown they're loved in certain ways. Like, this is not also about another person. Actually, it feels also about you expressing yourself and what you need. Are you such a people pleaser sometimes? Or are you so scared of losing people that you won't express your needs in a relationship, whether it's a romantic partner or a friend? So if you are having blocks with your expression, that's very common for women. And if not, that's fine. But if you are, this would be a message for you to just take stock of what you need and to take a step towards vocalizing it and expressing it in a healthy way. And how someone responds to you expressing kindly what you need will tell you everything. If they get defensive, if they say you need too much, if they say that's too, you know, whatever it is, then that is a little bit of a clue, don't you think? That kind of thing. So again, it's not about testing people though, but it is about prioritizing yourself and respecting yourself enough to speak up for yourself, and then seeing how people respond. If people respond with, I didn't know you needed that, of course, I will try, let's work on this, whatever it is, then you know that they really care, and like deep down, and it's not about just manipulation, like they want to, that they will change, you know, parts of them in order to make you feel more comfortable or more safe or loved, right? Is, you know, you're not asking for the world, you're just saying, hey, do you mind just like trying this or that kind of thing. So that's what you want to look for, is their reaction or response when you kindly vocalize a basic need. Okay? So yes, and I also feel like this card right here, the peaceful card, this is what you're going to feel when you speak up for yourself and start to root out the people that do not serve your path right now. So in the moment, it might feel even confrontational. It might feel icky. It might feel uncomfortable. It might feel sad. You might have to grieve the loss of a loved one that you can no longer put your energy around in order to protect yourself. But once you get past that ickiness, that's when you're going to see so many opportunities come your way, so many people filling in the void that make you feel so much more, I want to say, empowered and whole and complete and on the right path. And it's like when you do that icky, uncomfortable thing and you don't know if you did the right thing because you won't get instant gratification for it, that kind of thing. But then you get rewarded like 10 times fold. just shortly after, you know, even though you don't know it and don't expect it, that's what's going to happen. So if you remove toxic people from your environment, or you remove yourself from a toxic environment, it'll be really hard and icky and uncomfortable maybe, or it might even be very liberating and wonderful. But regardless, on the other side of taking that kind of action, expressing yourself, asking for what you want, whatever it is, on the other side of that action, that behavior, that change, you're going to be rewarded. Just know that and trust it. Don't look for it, don't expect it, but knowing and trusting it, that's a little different. You'll see things unfold like beautifully. So just, again, whatever resonates with you, great. If not, tuck it in the back of your mind. We're going to go to the next important day, but keep making connections with this. And I do just want to touch back with the Wowzer card of let's get back. I want to like wrap up this day actually, that the coming together of you and your spouse here is remarkable, because this is a love you have not experienced yet. You love the animals, you love your family, you love the land, you even love yourself in this life. Everything is lovely and wonderful, peaceful, good, structured, routine. Actually, you might do well with structure and routine. If you find that you don't have as much structure or routine in your life that you want, you might enjoy that. It might, like, you know, you might be like start making lists kind of deal, might get you more organized. But besides that, this also, this guy is like this dark-haired gentleman, and sweet as they come, but also like strong and just like tall, dark, and handsome, like protective, lovely, gentle person, very like soulmate-ish feeling here. It's really lovely. And what happens, let's see. Yeah. So it's a love unlike you've ever known. So this, I feel like, does relate to you expressing yourself, making sure you're standing up for yourself and prioritizing yourself. It's almost like that's the love you've never known. Make sure you are showing yourself the love that you deserve. It's a love you'll never know. And then that will bring in love in new depths that you have not yet experienced yet. Have you ever had those things in life where you're like, oh my God, I'm this old already and I've never experienced this until now? How is that possible? That kind of thing. There's more of that coming, like right around the bend. It's very exciting. So just keep that in mind and keep making connections where you can. All right, next important day. So this is the war card, and it's like war is coming or war is around the bend. And it can be war, battle, but this can also be emotional, internal wars, that kind of thing as well. Not actual wars, or it could be literal. This is the karmic card. So this is someone you are seeing in this current, something happening in this life following through to your current life. It could be a person or a situation. And then this is the betrayal card. Betrayal. And so I'm going to just see what's coming through here. Okay, so what's happening is we're looking at a lot of, it seems to be like many, many years later. I feel like there's at least one kid, possibly two. Now another one popped up. So we're looking at you with a family of 2 children, working on the farm. Okay. Sorry, I'm just waiting for them to kind of fill me in with what's going on here. Okay. Okay, honestly, this is very interesting. It feels like you had a son. It feels like one of your kids died. It feels like one of the kids died. It feels like a boy. And I'm trying to figure out what this is. So it's almost like a betrayal. You feel like it's a betrayal of God. And it feels like that's what I know it sounds heavy, but it's... So this person here is just so lighthearted and so peaceful, easygoing, that there's a betrayal. It feels like a betrayal for the first time in her life where the child dies, but it's not... Okay, so it feels like we're looking at, like... while away doing a job, there's a death, and it has to do with the requirements of the job. Kind of like how we would see if you go off to war and you die in line of duty kind of thing, or you're a police officer and you die in the line of duty. Now that I say that, that's what it feels like. Okay, so it feels like the boy left the lifestyle here despite it feels like you tried to like you thought, oh, my kids will grow up and continue this lifestyle, but the boy went away to be like a police officer in the city, is what it feels like. And it feels like he died in line of duty. Okay, that's so interesting. So this soul of this boy is in your current life. It doesn't have to be your child. It could be a best friend or a friend or a whoever it is, but they're there to teach similar lessons or vice versa. And this lesson was to keep the faith. It's like keep the faith in the love and peace that you have in your world and focus on that, and don't let the journey of another soul that you're connected to affect your connection to source and your connection to yourself and your truths. Okay, so what does this mean? This is someone, it's almost like if there is someone in your life, or was someone in your life, or will be, who because of a decision they make for their own life, but you're so close to them that you're part of the decision in a way of at least being present through the decision-making process, that because of that decision, it leads them to either, it could be injury, death, it could be unhappiness, it could be bad habits, like someone, because of a decision they made, they ended up becoming a drug addict, and then their life is really hard, and you know what I mean, like that kind of thing. Your job is to understand that that's their journey, and that's their process, and they have lessons to learn, and you're not part of that, and you're not responsible for it, nor are you responsible to fix it. This is where you prioritize yourself as well. Whatever's coming to mind right now is the situation that this is referring to. If nothing's coming to mind, tuck it in the back of your head for whatever may come. But your job will be to keep the faith in your path, your journey, your decisions, and to understand that you are not responsible to fix other people, because that could be hindering their growth in learning certain lessons that they have signed up to learn. So you need to remove yourself from the idea that you are responsible and let go of the burden of responsibility over other people. I understand if you have kids, let's say, yeah, you're mothering them and you have to like protect them as much as you can, but they are individual souls on their journey, and they do have to learn things the hard way much of the time. And if you hold them back from learning those lessons, that's kind of an enabler rather than a protector. You know what I mean? Rather try to protect their soul path and their soul journey in protecting the soul contracts they've made to learn certain lessons by just being there for them. And this is for friends or family, whoever it is for. Be there for them. Be an ear. But don't let them take advantage of you. Don't people please and just allow them to vent and puke all over, their problems all over you. But definitely if you love them, show it to them, but it doesn't mean you have to fix their problems. You don't have to pay for their mistakes. You know what I'm talking about? So just keep that in mind. It's not a bad thing, because this is a lesson for you. So if you're going through this or will go through this or have gone through this, you need to pat yourself on the back for understanding all those concepts and knowing that you are learning your lesson by separating yourself from someone else's lessons and prioritizing yourself and your comfort level in that way. Truly. So just keep that in mind. And keep with the lesson. This is a lesson of the betrayal card. It's about, yeah, you'll feel betrayed. You'll feel emotions that are human. Human emotions, it's what you're here to feel. But it's also about recognizing that it's not a betrayal of the universe or God or your faith or yourself. It's not, nothing's betraying you. It's all a lesson. So if you're able to step back and look at the big picture of it and forgive and let go of the idea that I've been betrayed, like this is not, you don't have my back, and let go of that and just be like, this is a hard lesson. I get it. And I'm going to survive this, and I'm going to thrive and move forward. And I wish you well, to whoever it is, on your journey. I love you, but me loving you doesn't mean that I have to sacrifice or compromise my values, my lessons, my growth. Okay? So here we're going to the death card. Keep making connections where you can. The death card here is the water card, and all this feels like is that you died during the rainy season, but lived a very long, peaceful, overall peaceful life. And it's just the rainy season, so it could be that you love the rain because it feels like a peaceful passing. So the rain could be soothing for you, like ASMR, like soothing sounds that really calm you, or you might hate the rain. You might be like, I'm not driving in the rain. You might make people text you if they drive home in the rain that they got home okay. So that's all it is that kind of connection you could make. And then the lesson here is the working hard. And this is really nice because this lesson for here, it's showing you that hard work can actually be peaceful and calming, and the structure and routine of the hard work can be soothing in its own right. You know what I mean? It's about perspective, and this card is about giving you the perspective that hard work doesn't mean sacrifice. So let's say that you're unhappy at a job or with what's happening in your career, whatever it might be. It doesn't mean you don't have to punish yourself to succeed. So if you feel like you're punishing yourself by the job that you have or the career you've chosen, you don't have to stay there. This is free will. You don't have to stay working where working means sacrifice. Make sure that you are choosing to spend the majority of your day doing something where hard work feels good and feels rewarding and successful and even like challenging in a good way, you know, that kind of thing, where it's like you look forward to working hard because you're gonna reap the benefits and you know it. And that's so possible for you if you haven't figured that out yet or found what you want to do with the majority of your time yet, if that makes sense. I mean, this can simply be that you're a mom and you just love being a mom. Like, that's totally fine too. And there's nothing simple about that, I know. But you know what I mean? So it's really about perspective and just recognizing and realizing that you may be programmed to think hard work pays off, but I have to suffer in the meantime. Get rid of that programming. That is not your belief system. That's not a soul belief system. That's something we learn in this society. You can love what you do, work so hard, and love every minute of it. And it's almost like I feel like this is coming through to let you know that if you're on the verge of, you know, if you're in the decision-making process of what do I do, I'm unhappy, I want to do something else, just be open now that this is out there. Be open and see what comes across your radar and look for the synchronicities, that kind of thing. Go with your gut, listen to your intuition, do something that is creative, that is exciting, that brings you joy. And it could be something you consider a hobby that you turn into a career, you never know. So just sit back, keep your eyes open, see what comes across your radar, and just kind of like allow the flow to happen. And do all the things we were talking about if they resonate with you, as far as like expressing yourself, removing toxic people, that kind of stuff. And that's going to help with that over here. It's going to help with a lot. So anyway, keep making connections where you can with the hard work card. And anyway, there is your past life. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, first, the timeline. It feels like we're actually looking at 20th century. We're looking at early to mid 20th century. It feels like more mid. And it feels like where we are, it would feel like it's back further in history because we're out in the country. It feels like not assimilating with the emerging technologies of the time, so it feels like it'd be more outdated, so you might actually enjoy old-fashioned things, and by that I mean simply things like, you know, handwriting a greeting card kind of thing versus an email, sending it like a e-card. I know it's random, but anyway, that's the time period, so if you have an affinity for that time period, there's another connection. If not, that's fine, but that's what it feels like. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you are able to make some connections, and thanks for letting me read you.